Going, you guys? I'm back with another video. So today I'm gonna start back a series that I pretty much killed off a long time ago. This is the My Favorite Artist series. I started last summer, and I want to start doing it again because I feel like I've been listening to a lot of music over the last couple months. A lot of new music. From last year I was mainly into like listen Christian rap and stuff like that. But now I'm just getting to back into like secular hip hop, um, get into some, Christian rock, some, Christian metal, um, R&B, whatever. So I've been listening to a lot of different types of music, recently. And there's one band that I've been listening to is P.O.D, which I'm gonna talk about in this video. Now P.O.D is an interesting band because, even though they are Christians, they all Christian, they all follow Christ. They're they kind of been in that mainstream they kind of in that mainstream, they always been in that mainstream, limelight, since, Southtown came out in like 99, they always been in the mainstream light because they signed to Atlantic, which is a very major label. And, they've been always been, respected by the, metal punk community and whatnot. People who don't even confess Christianity, respect POD, because I mean, they talk about God in lyrics, but they don't do it. They don't overkill. They don't do it. They don't overkill like some other bands. So that's why. So that's what kind of interested me about P.O.D. I was listening to like Limp Bizkit and Korn, like some of the new metal stuff, and then I heard P.O.D.'s Southtown. I was like, oh, this is cool. They didn't curse in the lyrics and nothing like that. And then I listened to this song Alive, and I was like, wow, this song is definitely, I could definitely consider this a Christian song, even though it's not talking about, even though it doesn't say the word Jesus. I mean, you know who he's talking about just based on the lyrics. You know he's talking about God. So like I like P.O.D. They're definitely a great band. If you're into like metal, punk, or new metal, like P.O.D would definitely be the band I would recommend. If you're a Christian who's into those genres, check out P.O.D. They just came back. They got a new album coming out later on this year. They released a new single, Soundboy Killa, came out last year, and that song goes hard. So they're not dead. They still keeping that new metal sound alive. While rock and roll is in general has been on decline, over the last decade. P.O.D and like other like bands, other Christian bands are like keeping the genre alive, you know. So I definitely recommend P.O.D. If you're a Christian one, listen to like rock music that's not, cheesy and not overly, religious. P.O.D is definitely a good, you know, taste for you. It's definitely a good band for you. Also, I watched an interview from P.O.D on Rapzilla, which is a Christian hip hop, um, you know, website, and they was talking about Lecrae, and they saying that they didn't even know who Lecrae was because they was so mainstream. They didn't pay attention to what's going on in the Christian community. So P.O.D kind of reminds me of D1 in a way, because for those who don't know who D1 is, D1 was I mean, he's a mainstream rapper, but he raps about Christ. He raps about Christ, and he's never been, but he's always been, but he always, appealed to us the general hip hop, crowd. Whereas guys like Lecrae, they start off being like very Christian, very, churchy. Then, as the career got, gone on, they became more mainstream. Whereas P.O.D, they always been mainstream. I mean, I mean, even though, I mean, they kind of started off, they were kind of like Lecrae in a way. I mean, but they were more like underground. Like they started off in the early '90s, but when they really popped in like '99, they just took off from there, from Southtown to now. Like they just took off. So definitely recommend P.O.D. So to those who like, rock music, you don't even have to be a Christian like P.O.D. That's how good they are. So anyway, this is Mario signing off.